it's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the InuYasha vlogs. And today we are looking at episode 8, the last... No, I'm just kidding. We're taking a look at episode 8, The Toad Who Would Be Prince. And as you guys could probably guess from the title, you pretty much know what this episode's going to be inspired by. So, this is essentially our first filler episode of the series, and... normally, I wouldn't talk about filler episodes, but because I'm doing this all the episodes chronologically, I figured I might as well. And this filler episode's actually kind of fun. It's a simple episode acquiring a jewel shard from a demon who is a lord in a castle. Basically, InuYasha and Kagome are just enjoying the countryside, but they are suddenly come across a very particular character named Nobunaga, which turns out is an actual historical figure in ancient Japan. And it kind of brings up a parallel I'll bring up in a sec, but obviously Kagome has been studying this character in history class. Wouldn't. I'd never heard of this character until the show. And, you know, wants his autograph and wants to maybe talk to him, so basically, I don't know, maybe she could get a good grade in history. You know, hey, you met the actual person. Look, you're using time travel. You might as well get some info with the person, essentially, so you can go back and, you know, do your report on it, and people be like, where the fuck did you get this information? Be like, internet? But to the point, so, Nobunaga, basically, it is not the same as the historical Nobunaga, known as Oda Nobunaga. This is Amari Nobunaga. And I love the fact that Amari Nobunaga, you know, says, oh, please don't confuse me with that big idiot. That's hilarious that, like, these characters that are famous actually turn out to be these assholes. I think that's really funny. But to the point, he has been traveling with his monkey. I forget, I think it's like, they don't really give him a name in the English dub, but I think he's known as Hoshiomaru in the Japanese dub. So, he is basically on a quest to find this princess that he has been in love with since they were children, who has been captured by this ancient lord. In fact, all the women in this local village have been captured by the lord to essentially be married to, but he's been through all of them. And he may not be who he seems to be. Obviously, it's funny because he kind of starts off, he's got like a mask over him, and they're kind of playing up sort of an invisible man kind of thing to him. And it's so funny because, like, the princess is, you know, presenting shit and talking to him. And she says, can I go home? And he has the funniest reactions. I love this character. And the prince is just like, you're not. I don't know why. Okay, the character's design we'll get to in a sec. It's kind of generic, but I love his voice. Whoever does the voice of the prince is hilarious. So, basically, they have to storm the castle. They obviously sense the presence of a demon. And it turns out the prince has been possessed by an evil exorcist frog demon. So now he's a giant humanoid frog. Yeah, Kermit-chan went all evil. Hello, Kermit the Frog here, and I am here to capture all your bitches. Yay! That's my best Kermit. I don't know if that's any good. But to the point, so InuYasha and Kagome have to find a way to not kill the prince, but essentially get the demon out of his body so he can become a normal prince. And it's funny at the end when he does become the prince, he looks like Caillou mixed with, like, One Punch Man. He looks like a Charlie Brown character. It's hilarious. So, the whole episode is actually kind of a fun one. I like the chemistry, obviously, that Nobunaga has with these characters, even though we never see this character again, which he's a cool guy. It has, obviously, a lot of fairy tale elements to it. It's a classic tales. You have things like the Frog Prince, a bit of Beauty and the Beast, but then you also have things like Aladdin, surprisingly. So with Nobunaga and his pet monkey, there's a bit of the Aladdin Abu aspects there based on the Disney film, which I really like. There's a bit of that in there, which is great. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Obviously, Myoga is part of this adventure, giving them tips of how to kill the toad, or the frog, which is kind of cool. But the frog's design, the demon design, it's essentially Kermit the Frog in robes. I'm Kermit the Frog, and I'm here in a set of kimonos, here to fuck these bitches or eat them in my egg sack. Yay! I swear if they did an abridged version of that, they should get somebody to just be Kermit the Frog the whole time, and he's just Kermit. So when he does that, you're my nut, he's like, you're my nut. So, again, his voice is really great. I love it. It's like, you know, like, he's got all the women in these egg sets, which are disgusting. You're like, ugh. You know, he's like, oh, princess, my princess, I could eat you up. He sounds like a mix of Pee Wee Herman and Gollum. It's really kind of a creepy character, but on top of that, it's funny. He's a really funny character, this demon. Great design. But yeah, it's a simple episode. There's not much to talk about. It does establish just more of, like, kind of blending the history with the fantasy aspects. And this is something I do want to bring up, because it has been established that this takes place 500 years before the show takes place, which is in 2000 or 1997, which means that the feudal Japan here takes place in the 1400s. Now, I'm okay with that, but the problem is there are demons, there are monsters, there are dragons, and I find it hard to believe that those existed in feudal Japan. So, for me, it isn't much as time travel as it is going to an alternate reality or an alternate universe of Japan. It's not the established history that we actually know. And there is sort of a parallel between history and fantasy. It's very much in the style of the Arthurian mythologies, where, you know, obviously King Arthur was a real king in sort of the Roman aspects of it, but over time, as the legends and stories have been passed on from generation to generation, it gets weird. There's now magic, there's now a sword in the stone, there's a Merlin, there's a Knights of the Round Table, there's a Camelot, there's magic, there's dragons, and that part starts to pass on. So it's kind of like that in that sense, where it is sort of feudal Japan, but over time it is spread to this more different world, this fantasy world, which makes me wonder what the Chinese areas are like, or what the English areas are like. Are they more on par with stuff from Mulan, or are they on par from things from Lord of the Rings? That's what I'm kind of fascinated with, and I wish we could have explored that more. But obviously, because we want to stick to Japan, we stick to Japan. It is very much like Turtles 3. You know what? Turtles 3 is okay. I kind of have fun with it. It's so bad and dumb, but it's hilarious. But to the point. That's a totally different set of reptiles. So, yeah, it does establish that, and it's kind of interesting in that sense. But that's kind of my personal opinion. I don't like to think this is actually in ancient Japan. This takes place in more of a fantasy Japan, an alternate Japan in a way. So, yeah, this one's a little bit shorter than the others. I just wanted to discuss it very briefly. Of course, I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this episode, The Toad That Would Be Prince? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, these are Patreon exclusive, so anybody on Patreon gets to see these early. I will be posting these on YouTube later. If you guys want to support the channel, link down below. Or if you're on Patreon already, just $1 or more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features, including these videos that are going to help support not only the show that we're working on, the BigJackFilms reviews, but they're also going to support a potential InuYasha fan film. So tune in next time when we take a look at a two-part arc that introduces a very famous, furry, lovable character. So until the next video, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off saying, "Oh my not!"